Hello, right, so we're going to try and predict the entire World Championships. We're going to go through, this is the My Dart Coach web app for the predictions. So let's start. So Littler versus Labanowski. I'm just going to go through these quite quickly because there's like 127 games, but we're going to see, I don't even know who I'm going to pick, to be honest. So we're going to see where we get to. So I'm going to go Littler wins first round. Mario versus David Davies. I'm going to go David Davies. Joe Cullen, Bradley Brooks. Bradley Brooks, I'm going for this one. Okay, next up, Mensah Suljovic against David Cameron. I'm going to go Suljovic for this one. Damon Heta versus Steve Lennon. I'm going Heta. Barney versus Belmont, definitely Barney. Rob Cross versus Core Decker. Rob Cross didn't play great the other day when he played in the Players' Championships. I thought he was Is he better than Core Decker though? Probably. We'll go Rob Cross. Ian White versus Mervyn King. I'm actually going to go Mervyn King on this one. Merv King wins that. Chris Dobie versus Zong. I'm going to go Chris Dobie. Andrew Gilding versus Cam Crabtree is an absolutely disgusting first round draw, and I hate it. Who wins though? I genuinely have no idea who wins this. I'm going to say experience over youth. We're going to go Andrew Gilding. Woodhouse versus Boris, Big Boris. I don't think he's going to get in Woodhouse's head. We're going to go Luke Woodhouse. Lukeman versus Hop. I'm going to go Martin Lukeman. Price versus Gavlaus. I feel like that has potential to be like a bit of one of those big clashes. I think Gavlaus is a bit, definitely likes to do what he wants on stage, and I think Price isn't going to like it. I think Price is going to win. I think Price is going to win that one, but I'm looking forward to that. Veinig versus Plaisir. If Veinig hadn't had the other week that he had, I would have 100% said Plaisir. Now though, I'm still going to say Plaisir. It's not 100% anymore. I'm going to say Wesley wins that one. Ryan Joyce against Owen Bates. I think experience. I'm going to go Ryan Joyce. Ratajski versus Toilo. I don't think Ratajski is going to let the slowness of Toilo get in his head at all. I think Ratajski is the better player. I'm going to go Ratajski. Bunting versus Białowicz. That is horrible. That is horrible if you're Stephen Bunting there, because Białowicz is really good. I think Białowicz has got a chance to take out Bunting, but I'm going to go Bunting. Veenstra versus Nitin Kumar. I'm going to leave everything, all stats and everything out of it. Nitin Kumar wins that one, just because I want him to. That is literally it. Dirk van Dijvenbode versus Andy Bartens. I feel like Bartens has got a really, really good chance of winning this game. On a prediction base though, I'm going to go Dirk. James Hurrell versus Stowe Bunce. I'm going to go Stowe Bunce in this one. I think Stowe Bunce, slight upset, not massive upset, but slight upset. Schindler versus Stephen Burton. Burton needs this really to keep his tour card. I think Burton's capable of beating Schindler. I just think Schindler's a bit more consistent, a bit more experience. Keen Barry versus Tim Pussy. Keen Barry. Do I go Keen Barry? Keen Barry had a stinker actually at the Wells, didn't he, a couple of years ago? Yeah, we'll go Keen Barry. Ryan Searle versus Chris Lamman. I'm going Searle. Dolan versus Dudney. Dolan. Clayton versus Lipscomb. Clayton. Johnny Clayton's winning that one. Dom Taylor versus Oscar Lukasic. Is it Lukasic? Lukasiak. There you go. Cheers, Alex. I'm going to go Dom Taylor. I'm the worst at pronouncing dart players' names ever. Michael Smith versus Lisa Ashton. I don't know how in the world I am debating how Michael Smith doesn't win this game, but I feel like Michael Smith, if anyone finds a way to lose a game, it's Michael Smith. I do think he's going to win. I'm going to go Michael Smith. Neil Zonneveld versus Hopai Pua. I'm going to say Pua wins that one. Ross Smith versus Andreas Harrison. I'm going to go Ross Smith. Thibaut Tricol versus Motomu Sakai. Thibaut. Dave Chisnell, Fallon Sherrick. You know what? I genuinely think Fallon Sherrick wins this. Do I? Do I think Fallon Sherrick wins this? I'm going to go Fallon. Ricardo Petreczko, Jose De Souza. I'm going Ricardo. Luke Humphreys versus Ted Everts. It's got to be Humphreys, really, isn't it? Jeffrey DeGraff versus Paul Lim. Just to set up the Humphreys Paul Lim match, I'm going Paul Lim. Nyman versus Sedlacek. I'm going to go Wessel. Gabriel Clemens versus Alex Spellman. I'm actually going to go Alex Spellman on that one. Nathan Aspin versus Lawrence Largan. I think Aspinall's playing well enough that he's going to be able to like deal with Lawrence Largan, and sort of he does come with it's not really antics, is it? It's just he just plays the game a slightly different way, I would say. I'm going to say Aspinall still comes through that one. Mickey Mansell, Leonard Gates. Mickey Mansell was not very happy with James Wade at the weekend. I think Leonard Gates is probably, Leonard Gates has the potential to wind Mickey Mansell up enough that it puts him off a little bit. Not like intentionally or anything. I just think the way that Leonard Gates plays the game. I'm going to go Leonard Gates. Mike Deckard versus David Munya. David, is it Munya? Manure. I'm so bad at this. Mike Decker. We're going Mike Decker. Kevin Dutz versus Matt Denon. I'm going Dutz. James Wade versus Rusi Azamoto. James the Machine Wade. Ricky Evans versus Manlock Leung. I'm going Manlock Leung. I think he wins. Cameron Menzies versus Charlie Manby. This for me just depends on what happens, how Charlie Manby deals with a massive stage, because he's done really well on the Modus. I think Menzies is a more than capable player of beating Charlie Manby, but I also think the same is on the opposite as well. I'm going to go Charlie Manby. Matt Campbell versus Adam Savida. I'm going to go Adam Savida. Van Veen versus Cristo Reyes. Reyes, I think, has got potential to do something. It looks like he's playing all right, judging by the qualifiers and stuff, but I don't think he's playing well enough to beat Jan Van Veen. Alan Suter versus Timu Harju. Alan Suter. Dimitri Vandenberg versus Darren Ice Cold Beverage. I feel like I've not seen much of Vandenberg in a while, to be honest. So this could be a bit of a banana peel for him, but I am going to back him. Vandenberg wins that one. Madars Razma versus Jamai van den Henry. I don't know what that is. Madars wins that one. Michael Van Gerwen versus Tatsunami. Michael Van Gerwen. William O'Connor versus Christoph Kachuk. I'm going O'Connor. Peter Wright versus Noah Lynn Van Leuven. I genuinely think, I'm sorry, Alex, I genuinely think Noah Lynn Van Leuven wins that. Kim Huybrechts versus Arno Merck. That's a difficult one to pick. I don't really feel like Huybrechts has done much. And I feel like Arno Merck is winning. He's winning tournaments to get here. I want to say Arno Merck. Gary Anderson versus Adam Hunt. Adam Hunt loses. Sorry, I was about to say Adam Hunt wins. He doesn't. Gary Anderson wins. I'm going. Connor Scott versus Simon Whitlock. I'm going to say Connor Scott. Jermaine Watamina versus Dominic Grudish. I'm going to say Watamina. Scott Williams, Nebreda. I'm going Scott Williams. Danny Noppert. Duran Vandervelde. I'm going Noppert. Nick Kenny versus Justin Hood. I'm going to go with Justin Hood for this one. Oh, I have double clicked by accident. Richie Ellis versus Johnny Tartar, Ed House. Ryan Meikle versus Jesus Salute, Ryan Meikle. Josh Rock versus Gemma Hayter, Josh Rock. Nico Springer versus Joe Cometo. I'm going to go Springer. I think that could be a close one though. Daryl Gurney versus Bo Greaves. Bo Greaves all day long. Callan Ridds versus Patrick Kovacs. I'm going Callan. And we're back again. Right, so we're halfway through. I'm going to start speeding through these now, I think. Luke Littler versus David Davies. I'm going Littler. Bradley Brooks versus Silovich. Brooks. Damon Hetta versus Raymond van Barneveld. That's a second round game. That's mental. Damon Hetta. Oh, big fish. Big fish advert. 1 sec. Okay, we're back. Rob Cross versus Mervyn King. It's the battle of the taxers. I'm going Mervyn King. Chris Dobie versus Andrew Gilding. Chris Dobie. Luke Woodhouse versus Martin Lukeman. Oh, I'm going to go Luke Woodhouse. Price versus Plaisir. I think Price wins that one. Ryan Joyce versus Christoph Ratajski. I actually think Ratajski wins. I'm going Ratajski. Stephen Bunting versus Nitin Kumar. I can't not go for Stephen Bunting here. I would love Kumar to win that one. I'm going Stephen Bunting. Dirk van Dijvenbode versus Stowe Bunts. I've got to go Dirk, really. Schindler versus Keen Barry. I'm going to go Schindler. Searle versus Dolan. I'm going to go Searle. Clayton versus Taylor. I'm going to go Clayton. Michael Smith versus Hope Pua. That's tough. That is really not a nice draw for Michael Smith. I'm going to go Michael Smith though. We're going to back him. Ross Smith versus Thibaut Tricol. Ross Smith. Fallon Sherrick versus Ricardo Pietrezco. I'm going to go Ricardo, but I feel like there's potential there for Fallon. Luke Humphries versus Paul Lim. I'm going to say Luke Humphries wins this game. I'm going to enjoy this game, but I think Luke Humphries wins that. If that one, I don't know if it's first to 3 or 4 in that round. If that can go like, it's first to 3. If that can go like 3-1, I'll be happy with that. Nyman versus Spellman. Nyman. Aspinall versus Leonard Gates. I think Leonard Gates has got potential. I think he's got potential to do Aspinall, but I don't think he's going to. Mike Ledecker versus Kevin Dutz. That's another good game. That is actually a really good game for a second round match. I'm going to go Dutz. James Wade versus Man Lok Leung. I think just experience is going to take James Wade through this game. I'm going to say James Wade. Charlie Manby versus Adam Savida. I'm going to say Charlie Manby. Jan Van Veen versus Alan Suter. Van Veen. Vandenberg versus Rasma. I actually think Rasma wins. I'm going Rasma on that one. Van Goen versus Willie O'Connor. Got to back Van Goen. Noah Lynn versus Arno Merckx. I actually think Noah Lynn gets to round 3. I've picked her. Gary Anderson versus Connor Scott in round 2. Gary Anderson. Watamina versus Scott Williams. That's good. That's actually good. I'm going to go Scott Williams, but I think that's a really good game. Noppert versus Justin Hood. I'm going to go Danny Noppert. Ed House versus Meikle. They would have played each other a lot, like off TV and stuff. They live quite close to each other. I'm going to go Ryan Meikle. Josh Rock versus Nico Springer. That's round 2. Oh my God. That's actually a really good game. I'm going to go Josh Rock, but that's really good. Bo Greaves versus Callan Rids. I think Callan wins. Okay, round 3. Littler versus Bradley Brooks. Littler. Damon Hare versus Mervyn King. Heta. Doby versus Woodhouse. Doby. Price versus Ratajski. Price. Bunting versus Dirk. Oh, that's tough. That is tough. Bunting. Schindler versus Searle. Schindler. Clayton versus Smith in round 3. I'm going to say Clayton. That's tough. Smith versus Pietrezco. I'm going Smith. Humphries versus Nyman. I'm going to go Humphries. I honestly think Humphries has not got a nice draw so far, but I'm going to go Humphries anyway. Aspinall versus Dutz. I am going to go Aspinall. Wade versus Manby. I can't not go James Wade. I'm going to go James Wade. Van Veen versus Rasma. I'm going to go Van Veen. Van Gerwen versus Noah Lynn Van Leuven. I'm going to go Van Gerwen. Anderson, Scott Williams. Anderson. Noppert, Ryan Meikle. I'm going to Noppert. Josh Rock, Callan Rids in the 3rd round. I like it. I'm going to go for Josh Rock. Okay, right, round 4. Littler versus Damon Heta. 1st to 4 sets. Littler. He's too good. Price versus Doby. Price. Price wins that one. Bunting versus Schindler. I don't know how, honestly, I don't think Bunting, I don't know how Bunting gets to round 5, but I am picking Bunting round 5. I don't know where he loses though, that's the problem. I don't know where he loses, I'm going to go Bunting. Clayton versus Ross Smith. I fancy Ross Smith there. Ross Smith to go through. Humphries versus Aspinall. I'm going to go Humphries. Wade versus Van Veen. I'm going to go Van Veen. Gary Anderson versus Michael Van Gerwen. 1st to 4. I'm going to go Gary Anderson. Gary Anderson gets through. Noppert versus Josh Rock. I think Josh Rock wins that one. And then into round 5. This is quarterfinals now. 1st to 5. Littler versus Price. We just saw Littler versus Price in the semis of the Players' Champs, and what a game that was. I think Price has got every opportunity to beat Littler. I definitely think he can do it. I just don't think he will. Luke Littler goes through. Bunting versus Ross Smith. I think Bunting's run ends here in the quarterfinals. I'm gonna go Ross Smith. Humphries versus Van Veen. Van Veen has done Humphries like 3 times in like the last however many. I'm pretty sure Van Veen's got Humphries' number. Do I go against him? Oh, I've no idea. I am going to go for, I'm going to play it safe, Humphries. Anderson versus Josh Rock. I'm going to go Josh Rock. Okay, is it semi-finals? Yeah, semi-finals, first of 6. Littler versus Smith. Littler versus Ross Smith. Littler. Humphries versus Josh Rock. How have I managed to get myself to the most boring final? I'm going Humphries. And you know what? No, I'm not. I'm not going Humphries. I'm going Josh Rock. I'm saying that we're going to get. I know it's not really boring. Humphries versus Littler. Everyone wants to see it. Well, most people want to see it, really. But I'm going to go Luke Littler, Josh Rock final, and I'm going to say Luke Littler becomes 2-time world champion. There we have it, guys. Luke Littler wins. He's too good. That's my predictions. Cheers for watching the video, guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.